is Thuthu. I graduated last year from the BA Education Studies program. I'm now doing my master's, my MPhil in education at the University of Cambridge. So I come from Burma. My interest in education and the decision to pursue education as a degree in the first place was because I wanted to do something to help improve the education system back home. I'm more concerned now with more post-structural ways of policy analysis. So instead of what is true or what is a best way of educating people, I'm more interested in how are particular values communicated within education policy, what are the impacts, what are the effects of these education policies, what are the global and local forces at play through education policies. If I see my academic journey as a thread, I would start, I think, the module that I took in my second year called the Policy and Politics in Education module, which I think is still a core module. Now, it really gave me the tools to carry forward with my research, and which I'm currently using a lot now as well, ways of looking at policy and how policy is not just pure, neutral, clear. Policy is really messy, and and just addressing that and learning to address that messiness was through the module. And so that carried on, and in my third year I did my dissertation on education policy in Myanmar.
What do you miss the most about the BA?
I would say the lecturers and just the very sort of homely community that we have, because I mean 3 years, and I'm an international student, so being away from home, this is my second home, and just the very homely feel of the institute, the academics, it's lovely. I miss that the most.
I'm Scott Caizley. I'm a graduate of UCL. I'm currently doing my MPhil in educational research at the University of Cambridge, and I've just recently won an ESRC studentship to study for my PhD at King's College. My favourite module at UCL will have had to be in my third year when I took Elite Inequalities in Education, and that really fit in with the work that I was doing and that I'm still continuing to do now. Another module that I really enjoyed, which I didn't actually think I would, was Educating and Organising for Social Justice. It was a very, very extraordinary module in terms of we actually got to go out and work with charities such as Citizens UK, and I was in a team of students that opened one of the first refugee welcome schools in London, and we got to work hands-on with communities, and we got to do loads of different stuff. So I think that was one module that I was a bit sceptical at first about sitting and taking, but that turned out to be not only useful, but I look back now and the memories that I've got from that are just next to none. It really was fantastic. I'm currently at the University of Cambridge, where I'm studying for my Masters of Philosophy in Educational Research. And I've just recently, the other day, was awarded a Economic and Social Research Council studentship to pursue my PhD at King's College, where I'll be looking at the social renewal of classical music and looking at the racial politics of classical music education. I've got everything to thank for where I am now, to UCL. When I got to UCL, I didn't have a path in mind that I wanted to do. And because the education degree there is so broad, you can specialise in philosophy, sociology, politics, history. You've got such a broad area of which you want to and what you can go down. And it wasn't until my second and third year that I started to specialise what I was actually doing. If it wasn't for UCL, and it hadn't have been for the library and the lecturers and the staff and the visiting professors and just the whole package you get when you study at an institution like the IOE, I wouldn't not just be where I am now, but I wouldn't even be doing the research that I'm doing now. So I've got everything to thank for it. It's still a place where if I get a chance to walk past, I'll always pop in and say hello to everyone there, because it really was just a truly phenomenal place to be, to study and to network and to make friends. I think just coming off of UCL, living in London, I think that really does prepare you for postgraduate life. And even if you don't decide to go on and pursue further research or further study, if you go and end up in a grad scheme, a lot of my friends on the same course as me on the BA ended up in grad schemes throughout the country. Some of them have ended up in teaching, some of them have ended up in positions abroad. So I think just living in London gives you a very dynamic and cultural experience, one like no other anywhere else in the world. But I think one of the things that I took from UCL, which has helped me transition to postgraduate life, would have been developing confidence to ask questions when you don't understand something. And now I'm at Cambridge, I see everyone raising their hand. And when I first got to UCL, I was one of them students at the back that wouldn't really speak. And then in year 2 and year 3, I started opening up a little bit more and coming out of my shell. And it wasn't until that I started asking questions and questioning things that I really started to get to grips with theories and contextual frameworks which were pinning all my research together. And not just asking questions, but emailing lecturers and going and spending time outside of the modules and getting to understand it on a deeper level. I think you've got to go above and beyond, and UCL really does help you with that. It's not something that's very difficult to do. If you do it, UCL's there to aid you. One thing that I wish I had have done looking back would have been to have read more. So when you get your key readings, you know, you can skip them, you skim read them. Don't do that. Even outside of the core module, read around it, read inside it, read things from people that, you know, are not even connected to it. And it really does, when you go on to further study or when you go on to further work or research, it's something that doesn't just bridge that connection together. It's something that develops skills that you just can't get back. So read more. Don't worry, you've got lots of time to decide what you want to do with your future, whether it's your penultimate year or your final year, or whether you've just started. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you want to do. I went into UCL thinking that I knew what I needed to know about education, and I ended up leaving knowing that what I knew initially about education was not what I left with, which is a good thing. I know people that have gone on to jobs in finance, in law, in media, in journalism, and education's the founding father of it. Pins all those subjects together when you go back to, and you look at the cause of how society in the past and the present and the future will and has developed. The career service at UCL, I'm yet to come across a service that's matching them on that level. You go with no ideas of what you want to do. You leave thinking, oh my gosh, I can do this, I could do that. And the amount of benefits you will receive, not just from the institute, but from having the UCL name with you and in your future, is one that doesn't compare to other institutions. It's incomparable.